Chapter 1 describes the RIE way, and it's kind of long. It goes from page 12 to 32. I may decide to break it into two recordings. We'll see. So the RIE way, and it starts out with a quote from Magda. Our goal is to help parents learn to live and let live with their infants and later with their older children. Such insight cannot be taught. Long-term learning is a slow process. It must happen organically, allowing for time in which the seeds of understanding may sprout, grow, bloom, and bear fruit. Magda Gerber. Enter an IRE parent, infant guidance class, or the home of an RIE family, and you'll find a gated off area that has been created as a safe space for the babies to play. For young babies, a thin, firm mat made of foam covered with cotton sheet has been placed on top of the floor or rug to ensure a safe and clean play space. It's a no shoes area for both adults and babies. At RIE parent infant guidance classes, parents sit around the perimeter of the room on small cushions or backjack floor chairs with their babies in their laps. When parents and babies first arrive in class, they take the time to warm in or transition to being in the gated off play space together. The parents quietly talk about their week and may ask the RIE facilitator for guidance on issues that came up at home since the last class. When a baby shows interest in being on the mat to be near the other babies and play objects, his parents lays him on his back on the mat or he moves toward the floor on his own to explore. The play objects arranged around the room are simple. They don't have busy patterns or shiny sparkles. You won't see the latest faddish toys that promise to be entertaining and educational. The objects don't light up, they don't make sounds unless a baby hits the object on the floor or against another object. To an adult, the play objects may look downright boring. And aren't some of those objects measuring cups and colanders from the kitchen cupboard? For young babies, there are tinted cotton napkins and just a few objects of various materials to mouth and chew on, such as metal frozen juice lids, silicone pot holders, and wooden rings. For crawling babies, there are additional objects such as cups made of wood, metal, and plastic, or balls that are bumpy or smooth and made of cotton, rubber, or plastic. For toddlers who often like to collect and sort things, there are also buckets and bowls. I could have saved so much money, I'm just saying. After the warming in period, I should have known about that. The RIE facilitator asked the adults to sit without talking for a period of quiet observation. Good luck if I was there. Except for the sounds of babies gurgling, cooing, and babbling their sounds of exertion and effort and the possible clatter of objects, the room is quiet as the adult observes the children for 20 minutes or so. They observe as 6-month-old Eli crawls across the room to reach a plastic colander full of balls, as Adriana lays on her back mouthing a wooden ring. Aiden scoots over and takes it from her. Oh, wait a minute. As Adriana, okay. Across the mat, Miles and Keisha are sitting up, facing each other. Miles picks up a small metal cup, and for a while, he and Keisha pass it back and forth between them. Then Miles taps the cup against Keisha's head, and she immediately begins to cry. Parents stay seated while the facilitator moves closer to the babies and says to Miles, Keisha's upset. If you want to bang the cup, you can bang it on the floor. She gently strokes each child's head, saying gently, softly. When the structured observation time is up, the facilitator may ask, what did you observe about your baby or someone else's baby? What did you observe about yourself? Eli's dad says, Eli spotted the colander all the way across the floor and worked hard to get to it. He was so pleased when he got there and finally had it in his hands. I have to work on my own impatience because sometimes I just want to hand things to him. Adriana's mom says, when Adriana was lying on her back playing with the ring, I was anxious when Aiden crawled over to her. But then I noticed that she didn't even seem to mind at all. And when he took the ring from her, she just looked around for something else to play with. That surprised me. Miles' mom says, when you moved in close and said Keisha's upset, Miles really seemed to listen. You brought a peaceful presence that helped both children to calm. Keisha's mom says, my first instinct was to come close to comfort Keisha, but she didn't even look at me. You gave her what she needed. And then there's a quote. Observation is an art form. It's not something that most people can do easily. But when they're encouraged to do it, they learn to let go and enjoy it. Parents can begin to relax and see who their child is becoming instead of thinking they need to be the cause of or catalyst for their child's development. Observation is a win-win situation because it's liberating for the parent and it's liberating for the child as well. People come to REIE because they're intrigued by having seen a child who is more independent, more calmly conducting herself in the world, and they wonder, what is this? Given the chance to live with a child whom they could like a lot, they grab onto it. Doing less is the cheese at the end of the tunnel. After her husband attended an RIE class, one woman said, What did you do to my husband? He's a changed man. And that's Elizabeth Memel, an RIE associate. In parent-infant guidance classes, parents observe their babies, come to appreciate all that their babies are doing, and trust in their baby's individual timetable for achieving milestones. By learning to hold back, rather than quickly intervening to rescue or problem solve for their babies, parents are often surprised to see just how competent their babies can be. Over time and with practice, parents become more confident in their parenting skills, and the babies becomes confident, self-reliant, and resourceful, as both take pleasure in just being together without any sort of agenda. And then Jeremy Aldridge writes, when my wife, Natasha, told me about RAE, I said, wait, you want me to pay money to sit in a room with other parents and babies and watch Billy crawl around? I can do that at home. But then I really learned to stop and observe. The next section is called attachment theory. Attachment theory refers to the developing connection between a baby and the significant other who cares for him, most often his mother or father. The nature of the attachment relationship is largely formed by the sensitive responsiveness of the parent to the baby and the overall quality of the baby-parent interactions. In secure attachments, the parent helps the baby learn to self-soothe and also encourages and takes pleasure in the baby's independent exploration. Learning when to hold close and when to let go is a skill that parents are called on to employ throughout their child's life. Magda's genius was in helping us to see the world from the baby's point of view and showing us practical ways to respond to babies with care and respect. I'm going to stop